Haisha here at the Soulblazing Sanctuary, and I'm here with Debbie Mancini Wilson. Here's a little bit about who Debbie is. Debbie is an internationally acclaimed best-selling author and parenting coach who appears on radio and television. Her ardent mission is to help children and adults tap into their imagination, nurture creative self-expression to enhance authenticity, and live true to oneself and life purposes. And as a parent, what could be more fulfilling than passing these awesome secrets along to your children? So, hi, Debbie. How are you?
Hi, Lisa. I'm fine. How are you today?
It's so good to have you here. We just finished the, motivation marathon together, and I thought it'd be wonderful to have you on this call. I really love your message and who you are and what you have to say. So
thank you. Yours. I love that you do basically what I do. You do with adults. I do with children. I'm eternally stuck in fourth grade, Lisa. So.
Yeah, but your website is so charming. It's so wonderful, and it's a great tool for parents to use with their children. So I could see that you have a lot of passion there. And as you know, I work in orphanages around the world, and I work with children. I think your website would be a great asset to some programs, perhaps around the world, as more kids are getting more computers. Yes.
And without the website, I have the book. The book is a parallel to the website. It's just something that you can hold on to and use. So
yes. So I'd like to ask you a couple of questions about legacy.
Certainly.
So what is the single greatest piece of advice you've ever received?
I think that would have to be, and we all receive so much information and so much advice, especially in this era where it's coming at us from every direction. But my favorite one, I think, was the most poignant, is to forgive. And most importantly, myself. And when I forgive myself, it opens me and untethers me, basically, to be freer to do what I do. I'm so hard on myself, and I think we all are. We're all our own worst enemy. But
Can you give me an example of how to forgive yourself? What do you do?
Well, when you don't make that deadline, or you don't accomplish something that you want, when you want, how you want, everything is going to be the way it is to be. And I think to forgive yourself for not controlling it. I think we all try to control for the sake of perfection. And once I learned to let go of the perfection side of things, first of all, I liked me better. And so I was able to go ahead and forgive myself for what I thought might have been failures. And now I realize that they weren't failures, they were lessons. And I have a lot of lessons behind me and under my belt now. And so I try to pass that along to children. I want children to understand that if they look for the lesson and they forgive themselves for not hitting a particular target, it's okay.
Yes, okay. So can you give me one tool of how to forgive yourself?
One tool on how to forgive yourself, I think, is to just lighten up. I think that's the best tool. Levity goes a long, long way.
I agree, absolutely.
Yeah, and not only does it make for just a happier spirit, because the levity makes you laugh and smile, but it also does help one see that usually things just aren't as important maybe as we make them seem at that particular moment.
Yeah, if we get that life is really a game, and this game has highs and lows. And if everything was always a high, you'd have no lessons to learn. You would be bored, actually. So if you could really take these tools and these setbacks and say, oh, what can I do differently next time? And look at it with a smile instead of getting frustrated and beating yourself up, I think that would go a long way.
I agree, and I like that. Life is a game if you can just look at it that way. And
absolutely.
I like the example you gave of the highs and the lows. It reminds me of a poem that I wrote. I've been a poet all my life, but I was given a project in school a long, long time ago. And I remember writing something, I don't remember the poem, but I remember the gist of it. And the gist of it was we should appreciate the ugly things in life because they really do make us appreciate the beauty. We wouldn't have anything to compare it to. We wouldn't know how beautiful this was if that wasn't so unpleasant and unsightly. So just kind of reminded me of that,
Yes, absolutely. Well, thanks so much. So next question. What's the biggest setback or hurdle you've had in your life, and how did you overcome it?
Well, It's a pretty deep one. It's not, I just talked about levity, but there's no light way to say this. Look at what I do for a living. Children are the most important element in my life. I champion children as much as I can, as often as I can, and having children was a huge goal of mine. And due to some health issues, I couldn't. And so for me, that was just a big depressive setback until I realized, you know what, I don't look like Christy Brinkley, so it's not about passing along the genes that counts here. I'm going to focus on getting children in my life one way or another. And I was in the process of adopting children when my husband came into my life with a 5.5-year-old and a newborn infant. And I've raised them. They are soon to be 23 and 18 years old now. So I had my children, I raised my children. As luck would have it, I did end up conceiving. I was pregnant with twins and they didn't make it. So, but I know why. Again, you have to look at the positive side, not maybe a levitative side, but a positive side. And I now know why those two souls turned around and went back. I absolutely know why now. So there's a positive spin to it, but I got over that. And I raised two of the sweetest young men in the world. That's a pretty biased opinion, but it's true.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you were able to fulfill it. So that was your hurdle, was not being able to have children. And then you got
Right.
through it by finding a man who had them, and you also were open to adoption. So you're
Right.
saying if there's a hurdle, there's always other doors to open. And you started a career working with children. So you
Exactly.
really found ways to get what you wanted. So instead of it being something that's incomplete in your life, you really fulfill that hole, whatever it was.
That's
So
right.
there's different avenues, different doors.
Exactly. And as a writer, I'm always coining little phrases, little Debbieisms, if you will. And I always like to say that life throws hurdles and detours at you.
Yes.
The good news is you get to map out the alternate route. And you do. There are always choices.
Okay, so what does it take to be in the top 1% of your field and to be happy?
I think in my field, I think just in just about any field, it's going to be persistence, maintaining a knowledge base that is worthy of that 1%. I think finding your true passion is the first key, and then the rest of it kind of falls into place. The happiness for me comes because I do what I absolutely love. Again, I'm stuck in 4th grade. What could be a better job than hanging out with kids and playing all day writing children's books?
Yes, absolutely. I love going to my child's, I have a 3.5-year-old and she's in preschool, and I love going there and seeing all the kids and all their laughter and their playing, and they're just so light and happy. It's just so much fun. It's my favorite part of the day.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what's going on.
Yes.
There's just, they're so innocent. It's that innocence that I just adore so much.
Yes.
And that wide-eyed, innocent look at the world. One of my favorite stories of my oldest son, I think he was about 6 or 7, and we were at a swimming pool, and he came swimming up to the edge of the pool, panting, out of breath, calling for me like there was some huge thing going on. And I went to the edge of the pool and I said, "What's the matter, honey?" And he said, "You have to watch this. I just invented a new way to swim." I mean, how awesome is that? Never in the history of the universe has anyone ever thought to put those two moves together, but him, I loved it.
Yes, that's wonderful. So what do you want your legacy to be?
You know what? Happy, authentic children growing into happy, authentic adults. I think, especially folks of my generation, we spent so long conforming. I was always told children should be seen, not heard. I was always, I was the youngest of 5, so nobody really wanted to hear what I had to say anyways. But, you grow up doing what you think you're supposed to do and doing what you're told, and that's great to an extent, but you lose your authentic self and your gifts, and you begin to not trust yourself. And those talents that you have are the gifts that you should be giving to the world.
Yeah.
And you just find a niche that goes along with that, then then you've hit the home run. And for me, my legacy would be to help children live authentically from the get-go so that they don't get to be my age and start wondering, who the heck am I? What is my
Right.
gift?
What a gift that would be. What a beautiful legacy to leave.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, God, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to do this interview. And I just want you to know you can go to colormyworld.info. Is that right? www.colormyworld.info. And also she has a website, www.gettoknowmykid.com. And both of them are so fun and interactive. You need to go there, especially if you have children. If you have nieces, nephews, or part of a children's group in any way, this is a beautiful site for children to learn, play, grow, and explore. So thank you so much, Debbie. I really appreciate this, and I had a lot of fun with you today.
Thank you, Lisa. Me too. And I just want to end with one little note. You don't have to have children, but you have children in your life. So everyone has an impact on a child.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, nurture that. Nurture that.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Lisa. My pleasure.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.